All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Cosmic Compass. We are going to start with some breaths. And then I'm just going to turn it right over to Jenna because I know she has a tight schedule today, and I really appreciate you being here with us, Jenna.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Okay. So first things first, find your feet wherever they may be today, bringing your awareness down into your feet. Breathing in naturally, scanning your body, feeling where your body is meeting, wherever you're sitting or standing. And when you're ready, we're going to take a deep breath in, breathing up through the soles of the feet, expanding the belly, and exhaling through the mouth when you're ready. If you don't want to close your eyes, or if that's not possible, just bringing your awareness down, breathing in through the soles of your feet, expanding your belly, exhaling. Breathing in up through the soles of your feet, feeling that earth energy, expanding your belly. Exhaling when you're ready. And just one more breath in and exhaling. Relaxing your jaw, your shoulders, your hips. When you're ready, just come back here, opening your eyes, or if you've been just relaxing into your awareness, you can just stay there if you want to. Jenna, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Gosh, thank you for having me.
We miss our tea and tarot. We'll bring more of that back. Yeah, it'll be fun. We need to anyway as we get closer to next year. So
Yeah. I haven't done a reading for next year yet, so I'm really excited.
yeah, it'll be fun. I mean, it's going to be, there's an intensity, and there's an intensity to that. That's how it is. So speaking of intensity, nice segue. Here we go into the full moon and the eclipse. I am going to take everybody through an exercise after you leave that goes into the whole 19-year cycle that we've talked about already, you and I.
Yeah.
And I would love for you to share a little bit, just briefly, about the energy that you're feeling for the full moon and the eclipse.
Mhm.
And then I really want people to know about the circle, because for me, that is such a vital part of my month. So I know you have very little time, so I'm just going to, yours now.
Well, thank you for having me, Denise. And it's so good to, see some familiar names and faces in the little top bar that I can see.
Yeah.
What I've been feeling into has been eclipse energy always for me, I think, is just portal openers. And so with that comes a lot of potent energy and a lot of time for reflection of where we've been and where we want to go. And in that, we have a lot of power and choice. And so we're really working deeply with our power always, but specifically, I feel like it's amplified with eclipse energy. That being said, the importance for the time to connect, to ground. Thank you. Thank you to the commenter. I know it's going to be on YouTube, so I don't want to like out anybody, but thank you for that little comment. So I think with that energy, it's really important to ground so that we can listen to our discernment, because it can also be really loud at this time and feel a little bit chaotic. Yes. And so giving ourselves the space and the time and the community, like you're building right here, right now, Denise, what a perfect time to be on Cosmic Compass conversation. I mean, every Monday, I wish I could be here, but always with extra charged energy. It's so nice to have that as a tool, really, as a tool, as a space to be heard, to be seen, and then to see and hear yourself as well. Yeah.
That's beautiful. And the circle, and the reason Kristen from Palo Alto Reiki she said it was okay to use her name. The reason we attend, and some of you also attend every month, is Jenna adds in some Reiki and also does pull cards. Do you want to say any more about that?
Yeah. Well, so Denise, for all of you, Denise has been a mentor of mine for years at this point, 4 years to be exact.
Wow.
And so I didn't know much about spiritual practice until I started working with Denise. So a lot of your work, Denise, has had a huge influence on how I create space, as well as being a sensuous, being in sensuous wisdom and working to be a facilitator of sensuous wisdom. So that's the foundations from which I'm coming from for my full moon circles. And so we usually start with talking briefly about the astrology. I'm still very much a student of astrology. I always will be. But I'm a novice, but I share what I know, but I'm also sharing intuitively what I'm deeply feeling into for the energy of the time and how I'm making that connection with what I do know about astrology. So we start there. And I think knowledge for me has always been a deep healer for me, to understand that this isn't being done to me, that these are the influences that I'm working with. And then how can I utilize those, knowing myself and knowing where I'm at in my life and how I can move forward. And then we move into a deep meditation. It's always curated for that particular moon, for the particular energy. It's very intuitively guided meditation with group Reiki, energy healing. And for those of you who've had Reiki, for those of you who maybe haven't or don't know what Reiki is, it's a non-touch energy healing modality. And there's no energy transferring. So I'm not transferring any of my energy to you. You're not giving me any of your energy. It's just Reiki, universal life force energy, that I'm channeling, moving through me to you. And it goes exactly where it needs to go. And the best way to understand Reiki is to experience it. But I always feel like, for me personally, it's like a spa day, like when I come back from the spa, that's the Reiki energy I feel coming out of it. And that's really nice for a full moon.
Yes, it's really nice for a full moon. And we're going to talk, and you can watch later if you want to, but we're going to talk about how to prepare for the full moon and what the energies are moving into that. So having a spa day feels like a really good plan, actually. I like it. I like it. Jenna, do I have permission to share about your midheaven?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. So one of the things that is the midheaven, so do a little astrology here for a moment, governs or gives us information about our career, but also how we show up in the world in a different way than our first house, which is ruled by the ascendant. So Jenna's midheaven is 29 Pisces. And so what we know from that is that there's a very intuitive, very mystical energy that Jenna lives in. And even though much of your 10th house is Aries, which is let's get them and let's do the work and let's be engaged. Having that midheaven in Pisces is one of the reasons why doing the work of the full moon circles and the intuitive work that you do, the medium work that you do, the animal communication work that you do, the Reiki work that you do, and the tarot work that you do, all of the above, that is why it flows. And that is, and for all of us, our midheaven is really what we will be known for, regardless of our career, honestly. Like, you could do anything, but you will always be known as someone who's really mystical. And I will always be known with the Cancer midheaven as someone who really cared And, so it doesn't really matter what I do. So there's this energy that we are supported with, all the time. And so you bring that with you to every circle. So that is also very, very nourishing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that. That's really healing to hear that, kind of no matter what you do, you're known for, like, so I think a lot of, at least for me, I'm always like, okay, what's next? Or like, how can I be more in my purpose or whatever? All of those things just keep racing all the time. So that's very nourishing to hear.
Oh yeah.
Like, we're in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. When you worked at an unnamed grocery store, um,
Whole Foods.
yeah, yeah. When you worked at Whole Foods, I just didn't, I didn't know. When you worked at Whole Foods, yes, you were doing the work of your Jupiter and Virgo, no doubt. But I think that people could tell or feel that energy of the mystic all around you, even if they didn't know um quite how to identify it. So I'm going to say something. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I didn't know you back then. But I would be curious. My little intuitive senses from this is that people would just randomly walk up to you to ask you what they should get in the supplement section.
I people would just randomly walk up to me and
Yeah.
share stories. So I feel like, which I don't mind actually.
Yeah.
I love being a space holder.
Yeah.
But yeah, supplements, a lot of where's the peanut butter, you know, which I guess could be a supplement for some,
Could be. Yeah, maybe.
nourishment for the soul, I guess. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah. That's funny. But yes, so yeah, no matter where you are, there's going to be that mystical element, and that, there's an energy in Pisces that extends itself out to others. And so there's always that. So,
What I
okay.
do get a lot,
Yeah.
Denise,
What?
is a lot of people who don't know that I do this work at all.
Uh-huh.
They're like, you remind me of the Good Witch, which is
Yes, I could totally see that. That's a show that, in case people don't know, that's a show that we've all watched and figured out that we should all have a store where we could be witchy, and no one ever seems to really pay anything, but we have a nice house too.
yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. Yes, I could totally see that. I mean, isn't her birthday right around your birthday, or your birthday right around her birthday, depending on how you want to look at that?
I don't know the lore. I don't know her
Oh, Jenna,
her lore.
I will have to find out. I will have to go on some webpage and get all the info for next time. All right. You probably have to run, yes?
I do have to run. But I guess the last final note that I want to share with everybody is just support and love for each of you on your journey, wherever you're at. I know that the energy has been really intense for my clients, myself. And so, you know, I might be assuming too much, but if it has been for you, like, it will not last forever, and we're in it together. So
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Thank you so much for being here. And uh Jenna, can you quickly put a link before you head out of how people sign up? It is recorded. If you're in a time zone, which some of you are in a different, really big different time zone, it'll be the middle of the night for you. So yeah, so if you could just say it is being held which day this week, because it's always ahead of the full moon.
yeah, it's sometimes it's on the full moon, but this actual full moon is my birthday this year.
Yes.
So I will be watching Taylor Swift in theaters, but
She's already seen it twice live. Just letting you all know.
But it's going to be Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is our full moon this month. And if you don't attend the live, you still get, yes, my birthday is on the full moon eclipse this year.
Yeah, and more than that, if you could just see her chart, it's a big year.
But yeah, it's so 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's on Zoom. And then if you don't attend live, but you have signed up, you still get distance Reiki. You do not have to be, you know, actively present to receive the Reiki. If your name is on the list, you are receiving Reiki at that time. So if you choose to just do the recording, I highly recommend still going through the meditation portion. And then last piece to that is just take care of yourself, drink a lot of water, regardless of if you're in my circle or not. But I will send that link right now.
Yes. And I would also say that if you are in a time zone where you're sleeping, actually the Reiki will go in more sometimes. I mean, it's really, sleep is an amazing place to be. So when I have Reiki sessions with Jenna, I've been known to fall asleep.
Yeah, a lot of people do because it's so relaxing. It's
Yeah,
so
I've been known to fall asleep, but I always wake up eventually. We have a system.
I do with Kristen. When I do Reiki with Kristen, I'm like zonked. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey,
So
everyone, I'm ready
yeah.
to
For those of you that don't know, Kristen is Jenna's Reiki teacher, and then now Jenna is now a Reiki master teacher also. So we've got Palo Alto Mountain Reiki, Palo Alto Reiki and Santa Cruz Mountain Reiki. I got to get them all right. But the Bay Area and the world is now, going to have, everyone will be in good hands. No pun intended.
What a great pun. Okay, I'm going to send that link. I'm going to mute myself to send that link so you don't hear me tippity tapping away.
Okay. All right.
And
thank you for being here. Yay. And I'm going to pull cards while you're doing that, or get ready to pull cards. So thank you. Thank you. Mwah. All right. Okay. So, yeah, we're all so busy right about now, and it is going to feel busier as we move toward the eclipse, the full moon, the shifting reminders around Pluto for everyone. I know that, we've been talking about this for a while. What I'm going to do right now is just pull an anchor card from the Herbal Astrology Oracle, which is right here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'll take Jenna off the spotlight. We'll wave and wish her happy birthday. Happy birthday. All right. Thank you. And I'm going to use the Herbal Astrology Oracle for a grounding and anchor card today, just because there is that really powerful level of the planets doing the portal, creating the portal. Okay, so here we have Palo Santo, the guardian. So let me get this. Thank you, Jenna. So this is and I'm just going to hold this here for a moment so you can really see the images, really feel into that. For a lot of us, like I have Palo Santo right behind me. It is something that we're used to using. I'm going to share today, I'm going to actually open the book and talk a little bit about what's happening here. You'll see the symbol for Pluto up at the top of the card, along with the South Node, which is very interesting. So a lot of transformation, clearing of energy. And that's actually what we're actually going to dive into that a little bit today. Just to be ready. Okay, so I am going to read that to us, and it's number 55 for anyone who's looking at the numerology, which of course we all love. Guardian. All right, so gifts from past lives, activating your dormant gifts, connecting to the ancestors. I mean, how much more perfect can we get to? Guardian of the sacred. And then the reversed, which we're not, it didn't come out reversed, just so you know, it came out this way. But I think looking at the shadow is super important, especially for a full moon eclipse. So dormant gifts, living in the past, which we will be taking care of today. Latent abilities and karmic inheritance. Now that's a good reminder for me, actually, given what's been going on in my life. Okay. And so the South Node and Pluto. The ritualistic burning of Palo Santo, which translates to holy wood in Spanish, can be traced back to the Incan Empire, where it was used in spiritual ceremonies to cleanse the body and space of malignant darkness. To this day, it is used ritualistically among many indigenous communities throughout Central and South America, particularly to cleanse bad energy, bad air, and the evil eye. Mal de air, translated to bad air, is a spiritual illness believed to be kind of a cold nighttime air created by malignant spirits that enter the body, causing pain, discomfort, sickness, and other kinds of imbalances. So I'll pause there just for a moment. I think it's really good to understand the indigenous roots of where things come from, why they're used, because this is not necessarily something that is to be used lightly, right? This isn't just something we burn randomly. We do this because there is a very strong and powerful energy that comes through Palo Santo. And, again, you use it only if you feel comfortable, if you have some training in that. I feel good about using it. I use it instead of sage, because sage is used for something different. And if we look at the indigenous component of how sage is used, we would, you might be surprised. So Palo Santo is something, and I use it sparingly, just every so often. Okay. Incan medicine people use this wood in their religious rituals as a tool to neutralize negativity, rejuvenate the body, mind, and spaces, which is often what I use it for, bring peace, balance, and good fortune, and achieve a better spiritual communication with their gods. Scientific studies now show how Palo Santo can relieve stress, anxiety, stimulate circulation, reduce joint and muscle pain, and uplift the mood and the immune system. It is proven to cleanse space, dispel bacteria, and act as an insect repellent. I'll read this next paragraph, and then I have something else to share. Palo Santo's medicinal qualities are very plutonic in nature, as it is powerfully cleansing, and it is highly invocatory, good word, and perfect for strong intention setting. That's a new word, invocatory. Palo Santo has a long history of use as a magic wand that unlocks innate gifts that have lain dormant, inactive, or blocked, like wisdom, intuition, and sight to see in the past, into the past, and into past lives. It feels like I'm pulling out my Palo Santo for the full moon, just letting you know. I'm feeling it. I will say that I did take it internally for a while on the advice of a naturopathic physician, and it really did what it said it would do. It cleansed, and I'm actually feeling like, I wouldn't take it unless you have support from someone who is trained in that. But I will tell you that under the guidance of a physician, it did what it was supposed to do for me, and I am really grateful for that. So that's another thing. All right, now last thing about Palo Santo, and then we will move on. But you can see why this was an important card to pull. Palo Santo is a protective wand that grants us the power of unlocking innate gifts that have lain dormant, inactive, or blocked. Palo Santo, like the fox, there's a fox in there with a little star, cool, is here to assist you as a spirit guide who will help you navigate the spirit world. The fox, native to South America, this particular fox, nestle among the desert forest of Palo Santo for shelter, living in symbiosis with the precious trees. That's very cool. Very, very cool. Foxes are symbolic of the afterlife, invisibility, and the sacred trickster. Palo Santo neutralizes the venom venom, venom of dark tricksters and alchemizes its poison into gold and becoming the sacred trickster. Okay, Palo Santo is here to remind you to activate your dormant gifts. You are a guardian of the sacred that has walked many paths. Know that you can neutralize the greatest of poisons and even outwit the smartest of tricksters. Interesting card to get for this time of year. Really powerful. So thank you for listening to all of that. We'll go back to our regular way of doing tarot, but again, what a powerful card to have for our anchor card and clear guidance, really clear guidance, right? So even if you don't have Palo Santo, okay, you know what? I'll do my best. I won't put it in the email to everyone. So to those of you who would like a copy of that, please email me and I will take some photos and I'll send it that way. Easier than putting it. It just would be easier that way for me. Okay, thank you for understanding. All right, so starting with that as an anchor, you can see that we're moving into a time of great power, just as Jenna was saying. Eclipses are portals. They really do deliver quite a lot of amazing energy. They also have the power to cleanse, and that's one of the things we'll be talking about. Okay, let's just pull a few more cards for the week, moving into how can we prepare for this event. All right. So the first card we're getting after, of course, the anchor card is the Ace of Wands. I mean, her artwork is just like it's most spectacular artwork. Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann. Ace of Wands. So we have our Palo Santo anchor with lots of information. I kind of like holding it here. It's like almost the right place for my head, right? Ace of Wands, really diving into your intuition and taking a moment to just really connect. Best way to connect with your intuition is to connect with your root, your sacrum, your womb space, and then move up your body, opening each and every energy center gently and slowly. Once you do get to the third eye, which is beautiful here, right? Anchor back down. Really important to anchor into the earth, especially during an eclipse. Those of you that were with me during the solar eclipse when we were doing the new moon, Create Magic with Your Inner Goddess. Wow, that meditation time was, yeah, that was just something. It just so happened it was scheduled for that time. So if you choose to meditate, which I think is great during an eclipse, just anchor, ground, connect. All right. There's probably more to that, but that's what's coming up for me. Next card we have, we are just getting the cards today, aren't we? The Hierophant. All right. This is a cool, again, very cool image of this card. Traditionally in tarot, this is a very interesting card traditionally. I'll just say this, bridge between worlds, right? Bridge between worlds. You can kind of get that from this card anyway. But I love every time I see this card, I'm drawn to something different. And that's really what tarot is about, honestly. Yeah, it was wild. Yes, it was. That meditation was wild. So having an opportunity to bridge, to connect, to deepen into the spiritual, obviously, that's some of the advice coming through this card. All right. This is a very interesting reading for the week. And I'm feeling just an incredible amount of support from the cosmos. Okay, here we have the Taurus, Scorpio spectrum, it shows up in the next card. This is the Lovers card. And this is very much about connection. It would be unwise to deny the power of a full moon in Taurus, which is very sensual, very, very sensual. And again, sensuality comes in so many different forms, like petting your cat, or feeling the sun when it's out on your skin, or crunching leaves beneath your feet. Sensuality isn't just sex or sexuality, right? Taurus is a very sensual sign. So thank you to those who come in to help pull cards with me. This is a really powerful reading for the week. So and I think having all of you here has been really helpful. So we have our Palo Santo, we have Ace of Wands, we have Hierophant, and we have the Lovers. So wowza, this is a really powerful reading. Yep. I will be getting this out this afternoon, later or tonight. So I'll make sure that we have this as reminders, so you can have a picture to look at the cards to remind you through the week. I think actually Wednesday is a great time for Jenna to have the full moon circle this week. I think in some preparation is, and the fact that it's her birthday, of course, right? We want to honor that. I mean, the full moon is her birthday. So yeah, this is, I think, a really good timing, kind of midweek, get everything moving and cleansed, and yeah, for sure. Okie dokie. Now, I'm going to give you some little hints about some of the energy that's coming through this week. And here it is. It's pretty simple, actually. In the email, I asked you to consider, if you wanted to, what was going on in your life 19 years ago. Okay. The reason I asked that is that the full moon eclipse that's coming is a reminder, full moon eclipse, of something that started same timing 19 years ago. So I've had to really do some soul searching. 2004 was not the easiest year. So what I've been doing, so just to kind of give you an idea of what I've been doing, is going through and just asking myself, and my guides, what was I learning in 2004? Clearly, who I am today and who I was in 2004 are very different, right? Very, very different. So and that's true for everyone. So the growth, being able to honor how much growth has happened, super important. What have I learned? What was I learning in 2004 specifically? Like what? I can't remember, honestly. I can remember April of 2004. Nancy, I can remember March because we were together in Hawaii on retreat for 10 days. But the year, and I remember July because that's when Sheena and Zumi came to live with me, my kitties. And beyond that, it was just a rough year. So I'm doing my best to kind of go back in and say, what were the bigger themes? What was I learning? How was I learning it? I was very inward that year, very much. I was not physically well that year. So I was learning about physical wellness and spiritual wellness. It was a big year. So how am I different now? And what are some of the lessons then that might be showing back up now? That's really key. What maybe could be showing up? And if so, get that Palo Santo out for me anyway, and do some clearing. What is it I've learned? It's really important to claim what you've learned, to really honor that, and to really connect with the wise parts of us that have really surged to the surface during all of these years. And if there's something that I'm still struggling with, or something you're still struggling with 19 years later, which is not uncommon, the first card I pulled with the South Node kind of suggests that there might be something that's karmic or systemic that we have been working with for lifetimes, perhaps. And so this is a great full moon to let that go. And how do we do that? That is such a good question that I don't have a full answer to, of course. But what I can say is, if I'm going to let go of something that is a systemic family pattern, or just a systemic soul pattern within myself, the most important thing before, releasing from that is to really understand how it has served me. How has this served my soul journey to be engaged in this pattern? And this is a real question, because it might not seem like it's serving me, and it probably isn't. And yet my soul is engaged in it. So how can I look at where it has served me? Once I can look at that, and then look at what I've learned, how can I then, what would replace that? What would be the different way of being or seeing or doing? That's where I think that's where an eclipse can help too. So it can do both. It can help us release, but also help us step through the portal of, how else can I do this differently? Kristen from Palo Alto Reiki posted something. I don't know if it was last night or this morning, Kristen, but really about tuning into the present moment and letting go of the past. And again, letting go of the past. Well, of course, we want to honor our past, but being in the present moment helps shift energy. And all of you who do Reiki, and there's a lot of people here today who do Reiki, who have been trained in it for a long time. When we are engaged in something like Reiki or energy work of any kind, what that does is it helps cleanse the field around us. And it brings us up to date in terms of being in the present moment. That is something that we must do in order to release some of these old patterns and ways of being. It is so important to honor them, though. They have become close friends in some ways. So before we send them off, it is important to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for helping me up to this point. Thank you for showing me some of the lessons that karmic South Node. Thank you for showing me some of what I needed to learn in this lifetime. And then as we move into the next phase, so there's a lot that happens, and it unfolds over months. So it doesn't have, this, by the way, doesn't have to happen in the instant of the full moon eclipse. But as it unfolds, what am I embracing that is new? How am I embracing this next phase? How do I want to shift into more of who I am, right? More of who I came here to be. So many of you know, Jenna and I are born 180 degrees apart. Her Scorpio sun and my Taurus sun are exactly opposite in the sky, which is why we hold a really cool container with the tarot and the other things that we do, because you're getting the full spectrum, Taurus, Scorpio, and then my Taurus planets are in the Scorpio house. So it is we're getting that deep container set for us. One of the things that's happening, and I think it's important, is to look at where this full moon is happening in your chart. Just look at the house that it's happening in. And for those of you that may or may not be familiar with how to do that, you can go to astro.com, plug in your birth information, and you look at the wheel and you'll see numbers, and it will show you how those are the houses. So each, and I think just so you know, next year I'm going to be shifting things up a little bit. I'm going to have another circle like this, but goes deeper. And anyway, we'll do more of that next year. I don't have that planned yet, but the idea is I want to show you more than I can during Cosmic Compass conversations. But the idea for the full moon, and again, Jenna actually, so I don't know if registration has closed for her booklets. Might want to check on that. But if in the future, if it has closed, for future full moon circles, she very often will have a booklet available that will help you discern what's happening in your own chart, which is great. So looking at what house it's in, this happens to be conjunct my sun, because it's opposite Jenna's sun. So conjunct my sun in the 8th house. So an 8th house full moon eclipse is big. It's huge. It's life-changing. So I'm very aware of that. So what am I going to do? I'm going to tone it down a bit in terms of being super busy. And I'm going to make sure that I spend some time in some meditation, which I do a little bit each day, but I think this is calling for a little bit more being out in nature, doing an altar. Again, if it's in your 1st house, you might want to be out in the world. If it's in your 2nd house, you want to be thinking about your inner and outer resources, time, energy, money, but also your spiritual resources as well, and how you feel about yourself, right? If it's in your 3rd house, communications and siblings and cousins and neighbors. And your 4th house, it would be home and family, your root, your foundation. Your 5th house, it would be play and pleasure, leadership, confidence, creativity, energy. If it's in your 6th house, it's healing and health, everyday life. Your 7th house would be partnership, relationship, and always start with yourself first, by the way, but it is definitely a partnership full moon. 8th house, as I say, is a very sacred mystery, the unknown, death, rebirth. The 9th house is inspiration, faith, learning in a really powerful way, travel. The 10th house is career, and as we talked about at the top of the hour, what we will be known for. The 11th house is groups, networks, friends. And the 12th house, if any of you have this eclipse happening in your 12th house, it is a very powerful, very deep movement of the soul that is shifting you energetically at just some of the deepest levels you can imagine. And your dreams are very important as we move through the week and then the next 3 months after the eclipse. So that's and then just kind of I didn't say too much about the 1st house, so I'll come back to the 1st house for those of you that have either a late Aries rising or a very early Taurus rising. The energy of the 1st house would be, whew, how am I showing up in the world, right? How am I showing up? So each of the houses give us a theme. There's also within the, as you know, from working with me, the chart reveals clues about your personal, journey as it relates to your personal planets. And then of course, the transpersonal planets, the collective energy as well. So as you go through this process, where was I 19 years ago? Where was I physically? I just happened to be in the same area. Isn't that interesting? Where was I emotionally? Oof. Where was I spiritually? Where was I mentally? Where was I in how I'm approaching the world and what I'd learned, what I was learning, what I was interested in? I mean, it's all in there. So this is going to take, if you choose to do your homework, it takes some unpacking for sure. And I think that is actually a pretty good way to describe it, because we really do. I personally think that this particular eclipse coming is a time to unpack. Like, do I want to keep carrying this with me? Really? Is this really what I want to keep carrying? No. And I've noticed what is showing up this week already. Just a reminder. You know how in YouTube they have these little clips that you can choose from? Here's your little cover YouTube photo. You know, the one where I just rolled my eyes is the one they're going to choose, right? They always pick the most flattering, and then they don't give you very many options, but that's a whole other thing. Anyway, so having this moment in time, having the support of the cosmos, having energy for your personal life, for your business, for your relationships, it's all, it's a flow. We just staying in the flow as much as possible. And I'm really excited that we've had this time together, this container. This feels like the right way to start the week. I'm really pleased that so many of you could join today. There's energy that is built when we come together as a group. And moving away from our personal now and moving out into the collective. Yes, there's a lot happening in the world, and it isn't good. It's tough, it's challenging, it's very, very serious, right? So some of you have definitely helped me in the last weeks try to figure out how we continue going in a time like this. Well, first of all, we're all here because we're choosing to deepen, to do what we can to promote life, to promote peace, to promote, vitality, radiance, depth, healing, right? And so if I'll speak for myself, if I allow the energies of the world to overcome me, which is perfectly appropriate, by the way, it is okay to feel how we feel because it's totally appropriate. But if I let that take me down to the point where I can't get up, where I can't be who I am, then that's not helping. So when we come together and we are holding this sacred space, we are holding a space of love and healing, we can consciously send that out into this cosmic cauldron, if you will, but this cosmic wave, and ask that it be taken to all those who need extra support today and every day, right? Those who need something beyond what we can do right now in this physical, us individually, who needs that support. And the beauty and I know Kristen does this every day. When you're trained in an energy modality like Reiki, you can sit with that every day and you can use that. And just, again, it's not about transferring. It's not even about sending. It's about building and opening and just getting more of that light and love and healing energy out there so it's accessible for those that need it. And for those of you that are trained in other healing arts, every time, if you're working with someone physically, like you're doing a massage perhaps, or you're working on your horse or your other animals, when you're doing that work, you are in that flow, and you can, for a moment, just ask that some of that energy be sent out into this bigger collective energy, and that will build, and that will make a difference. It will make a difference. It really does. Sagittarius moon here. Sagittarius moon here. As a child, one of my favorite books was The Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. And that book, if you need a book to read when things feel overwhelming, read the book. The movie was good. I'm not going to, but the book is far better in my opinion. And it's a children's book. It's small, it's short. So if you need something to just remind you of the power of our ability to shift what is negative or what is taking over, that's a great book to read. Those of you that are going to the Journey On Summit or attending via the live stream, you'll hear I don't think I have time to tell the whole story, but another book that was extraordinarily important, and those of you involved in the summit will get to see a quote from that in my presentation, was Illusions, or Is Illusions, by Richard Bach. I received that book in a really beautiful way when I was 12. And I wish I had time to tell the story at the summit, but just in case I do, I won't say it now, but maybe later I'll tell you all what that's about. But the energy of that book really helped me. Yes, Nancy. That was a tremendous gift in my life, and really, I think, helped define the cosmology of my existence from that point forward. Made sense of things for me. So another book, so again, Wrinkle in Time for a light read, Illusions for, you could take it at one level. It's short, but profound. Wrinkle in Time, short, profound. These are ways to shift your energy. Now, of course, music. Let's talk about music. As we move into this time, this eclipse, or any, this can happen anytime, but particularly I think with the powerful energy of this time while we're in between eclipses, frequency, musical frequency, super important. Many of you who have worked with me already know about the Solfeggio frequencies. The Solfeggio frequencies, you can find them on YouTube, and there's a different frequency that has different experience in your body, and they're meant to be somatically felt, listened to, but definitely felt in your body. For those of you with singing bowls, or a drum, or a piano, or a violin, or a harp, or guitar, or your voice, this is a good week to use it. This is a great week. Just, if I had an instrument, so if I had any stringed instrument, what I would probably do, well, okay, minus the piano, I put it up against my body as much as possible. Like the cello would be great this week. Like if anybody plays the cello, I would definitely get into that this week. Piano vibrates, you can feel it. And I think maybe I'll borrow the piano next door as we move into the full moon. But yes, sound, frequency, your voice, chanting, singing, it makes such a difference. It makes a huge difference. And scientifically, it makes a difference here. But scientifically, those vibrations, the sound stays in the atmosphere for a very long time. What we call noise pollution, right? There's a reason why we call it noise pollution, right? But we can counteract that and surround ourselves with music that really supports us in finding our harmony, and uplifting the frequency. And then, like I said, continuing to add to that beautiful collective energy that can go out to others. This is why in many spiritual or religious gatherings, people sing and pray. That's out loud. This is why this happens. So lots and lots and lots of energies, lots of support, lots of ways for us to connect this week with ourselves, with each other, with divine energy, whatever is yours to do in this lifetime, and in this time, in this week. Be ready for change. Eclipses bring change. I would say, for sure, 100% for sure, that these 2 weeks between eclipses have been filled with change, whether it's on a global level or on a community level or a personal level. It is truly extraordinary. And here I am asking you to think about the last 19 years. Well, yes. And also think about the last week. So there's plenty to work with. There's plenty to take you through this eclipse. There's plenty of support in the cosmos. And if you're able to attend Jenna's full moon circle on Wednesday, I will see you there. And I usually stay behind, we call it behind the veil in our circles. I usually have my camera off just so I can have a moment where I'm not on camera or not on, having to be in front. So I love that. And I'm so grateful that she chooses to do these. Oh, yay. Sunday. Okay. So Kristen, can you please put a link in the chat? I'm going to do a verbal promotion for Kristen of Palo Alto Reiki. Has an incredible, this is great. I'm really glad to hear you doing it this Sunday. She has an incredible community Reiki. It's on Zoom Sunday. Kristen, if you could put in the chat the time and a link, even if you're asleep, I would definitely sign up for this. Even if you can't attend, it's better if you can. Like, seriously, it's better if you can. But even if you can't, you can get on the list for receiving the Reiki. And I will say that personally, having experienced this a number of times, I highly recommend it. So it is at 6 p.m. The cost is $11. So, again, join, please, people, join. Bring the energy, bring it's like receive. Okay, super important Taurus thing, by the way, full moon and Taurus thing. Receiving in equal measure to how much you give. Let me repeat that. Receiving in equal measure to how much you give. So Sunday night, there's this offering, Palo Alto Reiki, receiving from that place. The shift is real. From that place, being able to offer more love and peace and healing into the world. If we could have hundreds of people on that call on Sunday, imagine how we could shift things, right? So Palo Alto Reiki, okay, I had the time wrong. 6 p.m., 6 p.m. Had to put on the glasses. 6 p.m. Sunday evening, $11. Full moon circle. Jenna put the link in here. That is Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. And the cost is, it says from $15.55. So let's just say $15, $16. I'm not sure. But again, pretty cool. We've got lots of support happening all around us. So, and I'm getting ready to go off to San Antonio next week. We will have a Cosmic Compass next Monday. Probably, can't promise this, but I'll probably do the November forecast on Monday, even though it's not November yet, because I'll need to take some time. Well, I'll be in San Antonio, so I won't be able to do it the next week. So for those of you that want to join me and a whole bunch of other amazing beings who are really seeking to support our evolution of thought, spiritually and physically, emotionally, neurologically, live stream tickets are available. The link is in the emails that you get for Cosmic Compass. So, and those links, if you do choose to do that, that does help support me while I'm gone as well. So they're very generous with their sharing of proceeds for each ticket. So thank you. I'm pretty excited too. And I'm excited about learning from all of these amazing people. And horses are what bring everyone together. And it is certainly well beyond horses. There is so much more going on there. So the more I learn about each presenter, the more I'm just in awe of what's happening there. Okay, lots going on. When I get back, we'll have about 6 weeks of time to do sessions. I'm taking a couple weeks off at the end of the year. So if you want to book a session before the end of the year, I'm just encouraging you to do that. And if not, January is wide open. So if you want to start your year with that, we can do that as well. And that is all for my self-promotion for the week. Thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting each other. Thank you for gathering. Thank you for being here. And I look forward to hearing more from each of you after this week. And after we move through all that we're moving through. So, I will see you all soon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to close for now. Take care, everybody. Bye.